So, welcome back to my channel. As you might already know, there has been a new dev blog on ForgottenEmpires.net. This one featured new random maps that will come with the Age of African Kingdom expansion, as well as a screenshot, which means, well, it's time for a short screenshot analysis. So we don't really see a lot of new things on this screenshot. First of all, we see a 1v1 battle on one of the new maps. It's one player plays as Mali, the other one is Indians, and they are both post-imperial. And here we can see the true beauty of the Age of Africa, the new African building set, as this one really, it really fits into the game while still representing its culture quite good, I think. So it's it just has the right spirit, you could say. It's also quite nice looking. The other building set, the Indian building set, is also something we haven't seen so far. But I should inform you that this is not to be included with the new expansion. It will be a workshop mod. It was done by someone on Age of AOKH. Yeah, on AOKH. I will link his mod in the description, and it is supposed to show the power of the new workshop system. But as mentioned, won't be in there by default. You have to subscribe to that mod if you want the nice looking Indian building set as well. So in addition to that, we are seeing goats as an alternative to sheep or turkeys, and some lemon shrubs, citrus trees, which will likely be a replacement for the forage bushes. They are nice looking and thematically fitting, so that's a good addition. So now talking about the main topic of this article is the new random maps. Well, those new random maps aren't that random as you have known random maps for the last 15 years or something, because the general layout of maps is fixed, so they are some kind of related to the real world maps, only that the resource placement will also be random, and they're designed around playing team games. So I just go over all of them and try to explain what you can see there and why this could be interesting. Talking about the first one, you see there are 2 islands. On each island there are 4 players, but each island has 3 players of one team and 1 player of the second team. So what could this mean? Is well, basically it could just end with 3-player feudal rushing 1 player, but this would make a 4v3 situation out of the game. But in this case, of course, you would be very vulnerable to sea attacks, as we see some players are quite close to the shoreline. So you maybe don't want to invest all resources in getting this one player, getting rid of this one player on your island. Maybe a bit more try to get sea control, which should be interesting as we get more ships to play with now. And that's basically all I got about this map. So the next one is one I'm personally quite interested in. It first of all, it looks kind of like a bit like Migration, So each player has a little starting island, but there's a big island in the middle with lots of resources. But in this case, each team also has a player on the middle island. So this player has a better starting location as the other three players on his team, but he's also located with an enemy on his island. So there's a lot of slinging potential, I think, and also I like how the roles are shifting on these kinds of map, because one player on the team uh, is only on the big and resourceful island. He has to make sure that the other players also can sail over to that island as soon as their resources run out. And yeah, this really creates an interesting and dynamic team play situations, which I like quite a lot. So as the maps are fixed, you might want to ask why, how the maps will play when there's less than 8 players on it, because yeah, well, the map size wouldn't really change, only the amount of players on that, and you got an example for that in the next three screenshots or map shots or something. There you can see that first of all there is a yeah, you could say it's a version of the map we saw previous. There's a island in the middle. There are 4 players on that island and one make a ring of water around that, and on the outsides of that map you can see 4 other players. So there are 4 players in the middle and 4 players on the outside, but each is split up between the teams. So I can see a lot of early aggression in the middle. However, there are quite a extensive wood lines, so large forests that is, and I think this could be easily walled, so water might become quite important on that map, as well, you can't wall the water. And yeah, you can see that there are always 4 players in the middle, at least if there are 4 players in the game. Only the amount of players on the outside is shrinking, so there's maybe a potential to expand your economy on the outside of the map. It also looks like there's a lot of space to build on, even if you're not having control over this ring of water, which also can be nice and, yeah, well, create situations where you've not automatically lost if you lost the water. So, and the last 3 screenshots I show you here, they are really well, they seem kinda odd to me, but still are very interesting to play on, I think. The first one is, yeah, well, there's a lot of forest on that, but you can't really use that forest to wall off, as there are only, yeah, small patches on the middle of the map. There are also all the players located, and only one, you could say only one player is playing flank, as those teams are arranged all in rows. And yeah, in order to get enough wood, you have to go to the edges of the map. In this case, only 2 edges have access to wood, so I can see lots of fighting around those wood lines there. You will be very open to raiding, but I think you could use this situation also to wall off a woodline entirely, so just stonewall the woodlines, and I think those are cliffs in between the big forest patches, which I assume just are there to prevent this forest cutting via onages or something. Yeah, and taking a look at the next map, this looks a little bit like Arabia to me, like Green Arabia, whatever. But in this case, again, we have only 1 flank player and 3 pockets. So we could see a lot of pressure on only 1 player. But of course, you need to be able to defend well if you are that player. But also more potential, more booming potential for the players which are quite far away from their opponents. and also there's a very large part of the map which is in the beginning isn't controlled by anyone, so map control will be very important here, as by just walling your base you will only have really a tiny fraction of the space on the map available to yourself. And yeah, now we'll talk about the last one. Is probably my favorite map that has been shown here. This looks a little bit like forest at first, because there's lots and lots of yeah, wood on the map, and only a relatively, yeah, tiny path you could follow. Well, there's only one path that you could follow to get to your opponent, but there's also a little bit of water on the map, so you could see transport ships here to avoid getting through this one yeah, choke point. And also what really makes things interesting here, and also what makes this my favorite map, is that you can't just at least the one player on the flank, you could say, can't just wall off, as there a lot of shallows between the two teams. So just simply walling off there isn't really an option. If you would like to wall off, you would need to wall off behind the first player of your team. So he would really have to relocate his economy, which would be less than ideal. So I think this map could be quite less stalemate as you would assume it is, and also has quite a lot of potential for wood cutting, like as I already mentioned, using unused trebuchets or something, or just, yeah, ordinary woodcutters, lumberjacks that is, to get through those relatively thin forests and get around your opponent's lines of defense this way. And yeah, I think this is one of the map that shows best that team play is really important on these new maps, and you got diverse more diverse roles within your team. So yeah, you have to communicate more and understand what your role is on what map, what your role is on which map, and this is something I'm really looking forward to. Yeah, I think this was it for now. Thanks for tuning in, and see you next time.